G'day, battlers, and the month of July has officially begun, which means it is officially Silph Arena Regionals month, and the Architect Cup is in full swing. Now, Architect Cup is going to be the meta for all Silph Arena Regionals plus Silph Arena Monthly Cups this month, so there's definitely a lot to focus on and a lot to sort of absorb as much as we can. So we're going to be jumping into today to take a look at Boem20, sweeping an early Architect Cup tournament, and Boem is one of the best battlers in the entire world. I mean, he's legend ranked on the Silph Arena leaderboards. I think that he's number 19 in the world on those leaderboards and number 1 in Belgium, so Boem is a really strong battler, and definitely does play some other really strong battlers through this tournament as well. But in this video, we're going to take it a little bit more easy as we look at the teams before each round, because this is regionals month, so we want to take it a little bit more, we want to go a little bit more in depth than we usually might. So starting off though, we'll take a look at Boem's team, and Boem did give me a little bit of a blurb as to how they put this team together, in the sense that we've got Malamar, Golbat, Normal Cast Form, Beedrill, Skuntank, and Melodic. Now, Malamar and Skuntank have sort of been brought in as sort of safe Pokemon. They're really neutral, they can win a lot of matchups, they've got something to throw at pretty much all of the Pokemon in the meta. Malamar is going to be running that Foul Play Superpower, while that Skuntank is going to be running Crunch Flamethrower. So just sort of neutral picks that are really safe and can definitely work in a lot of different teams. I've also brought in the Beedrill. Now, Beedrill is one of my favorite Pokemon in the entire Architect Cup. Pokemon like Drapion and Mark are really common, and it's really hard to get ground type coverage to take them out. So by bringing something like Beedrill in, you get that access to Drill Run, which comes out pretty spammy and fast. And it really gives you a lot of versatility to take on a lot of those big Pokemon that are in a lot of teams, which is why I think that Beedrill is a really nice pick. Also bringing in Melodic. Melodic has access to the Dragon Tail fast move, and then Surf, Hyper Beam as the charge moves. Dragon Tail puts on a lot of pressure, Surf puts on a lot of pressure, and then you've got that Hyper Beam just sitting in the back in case you can hashtag get beam someone. But really, being able to put on a lot of fast move pressure is something that's quite rare in the Architect Cup. So Melodic sort of starts to bridge that gap where it is putting on that fast move pressure while still putting on charge move pressure with the spammy Surfs. Also bringing in the Golbat. Now, Boem said that Golbat has sort of been brought in here as a little bit of a wall to Beedrill, because otherwise Beedrill performs quite well up against Boem's team. And then deciding to bring in, and that is Poison Fang Shadow Ball Golbat, and then Normal Cast Form, just rounding out that heap of 6. A little bit of rock coverage for things like if Frostlass comes out, you've got that super effective Hex, super effective Rock Weather Ball, and then also running that Energy Ball to give it that grass coverage in a meta where water is really strong. So that's sort of Boem's team, and I did want to mention that in a link in the description down below, there's going to be a link to the Telegram group where this tournament was hosted. They host a monthly tournament, they host a one-night cup, 24-hour rounds, they host practice cups like this one that you're going to see here, so definitely check it out if you want to get involved with some more practice as you sort of go into your Architect Cups, especially with regionals being this month. You want to get as much practice as you can. But enough rambling on, we'll jump into round 1 where we're up against Dub1916, who's running Beware, Malamar, Shadow Gyarados, Frostlass, Beedrill, and Credilli. Now, Shadow Gyarados is immediately catching my eye because it is one of the most dangerous Pokemon in this meta. Dragon, which we didn't mention before, we've mentioned a few videos now, is a typing that is completely unresisted in this meta. It hits neutral to literally everything in the entire meta. Everything doesn't love it, and with that Shadow bonus, it can really do a lot more, and it has a really spammy Aqua Tails and Crunch, and with Gyarados being quite an attack-weighted Pokemon, it is able to do a lot of damage with those, and it's sort of something that you have to be prepared for. And prepared for Dub might want to invest their shields into that Gyarados and force their way through a matchup, and you might just have to be prepared for that. Also bringing in Beware, which is that number 1 most selected Pokemon in the entire Architect Cup at this point, which I sort of prefer Malamar over that Beware, just because Malamar is going to be able to throw the superpowers while taking a superpower from Beware, whereas a Beware literally gets one hit KO'd by another Beware superpower. Like, it does 103%ish health, so that Beware goes down really quickly. But Dub has decided to bring in both Beware and Malamar, so they have a little bit of options. I wouldn't be too surprised if we end up seeing the Normal Cast Form come in here as well, just because the rock coverage is really nice. I mean, Frostlass is sort of this thing that rings off alarm bells that you might want to bring Cast Form or Skuntank or Malamar, maybe 2 out of the 3, maybe Melodic as well. Bringing something like Golbat is a little bit more risky, just because I mean, to be honest, I wouldn't really expect Golbat to come out. Actually, I mean, Boem did say that Golbat was being brought in here as the wall to Beedrill, and where Beedrill is definitely still a strong Pokemon, maybe we see Golbat to try and catch that Beedrill. But enough of that, we'll jump into the first round here, and we'll see what these two battlers do decide to do. Again, really strong battlers, and looking forward to seeing what goes on here. And actually, Golbat coming out straight in the lead against that Shadow Gyarados that we were talking about. I think that Golbat actually does win the one shield by just going straight Poison Fang against this Gyarados. Able to get this Poison Fang off here. Gyarados deciding not to shield, which is actually a really good play because it can tank that one, whereas if they shielded the first Poison Fang and didn't shield the second one, because of the first defense debuff, would actually take it out there. But whoa, going for the little sneaky swap into Malamar to be the last fast move on Malamar's end. I guess in case Dub brought in their own Malamar, so you'd have that little bit of an energy advantage, but going to bring in the Beware instead, and Malamar still in a really strong position here because Beware has to be really scared of those superpowers, a lot more scared than Malamar has to be. There is the chance that Beware is running Payback, in which case Malamar would be a little bit more scared, but has already gotten 2 superpowers off and burned both of Dub's shields, so in a really strong position here. That superpower does come through and take it out after being double defense debuffed from the 2 superpowers. At this point, it brings in the Golbat to get that big super effective damage off through with the wing attacks, shields up this superpower just to keep Golbat nice and healthy, and we actually see the swap out into Credilli. This is a little bit of a rough spot for Boem because Castform would really like to have a shield at least in this matchup, just because like they're both sort of spammy Pokemon, they're both doing a fair amount of damage to each other, but Credilli sort of balances the scales back by doing a lot more with those grass knots, those stone edges, really just able to put on more hurt onto the Castform, as you can see here. The Rock Weather Ball didn't do much. This Energy Ball not going to do too much either. Does have the chance of a defense debuff, I believe, though. Not able to get it there though, and this grass knot is definitely going to take this Castform out. And then it's going to be up to Golbat to take out both this Credilli and the Beware in the back. This Poison Fang is going to be enough to take out Credilli. One Poison Fang isn't going to be enough to take out how much health Beware has, so needs to get to a second Poison Fang after this, and I think Beware is a little bit stacked on energy. Yeah, able to get to the charge move before Golbat is, and that is going to seal the deal with Dub actually taking out this first Dub up against Boem. So Boem is going to have to think of their strategy and how to claw their way back, and we find ourselves in a Malamar mirror match. Malamar mirror match, as some would call it, but we instant swap into the Beedrill. Interesting, you can actually see that both Beedrill and Golbat, I'll cut off what I was going to say. Beedrill coming in, and we see the Beware swap in. Beware doesn't care about Beedrill too much. These X's don't do a ton, but they are, because they're so spammy, they are able to add up. Was probably hoping to get a shield out of Dub out of fear of it being a drill run, but not able to get it this time. And farms up to the drill run, okay, that's a really good strategy from Boem, letting Beware take it right down to the lowest possible health before throwing the move in case it goes through, so that whatever comes in gets the minimal amount of farm off of that Beedrill. So really nice identification of what the Beedrill can take, where like the exact right number of fast moves, but we see the Golbat come in there, tank the Stomp, and then just farm it down, get some energy going. Here comes like Credilli. Malamar definitely does a little bit better against Credilli than the Castform did, that we saw before. We're going to go for this Poison Fang first up. This is actually a little bit unfortunate because I think that you sort of prefer to have the Golbat on the Beware and not on the Beware. Actually, okay, we do see the Stone Edge come onto the Malamar. In it comes the Malamar now. And at this point, you just want to go straight foul play. You don't want to go for the superpowers. Just foul play, straight. Go. That foul play lands, and then we see the foul play coming back through. This is going to take out Boem's Malamar, and then it's going to be up to the Golbat to take out this Malamar and the Credilli. Farms up a fair bit of energy. I'm not sure if this Poison Fang is quite enough. You might need to do another fast move or two. Oh no, it is. Okay, yeah, that Malamar was quite low. And then this Poison Fang going to land on the Credilli. Presumably not going to get a shield because they weren't up to enough energy for the Shadow Ball. So just going to shield up here. Interesting, they haven't thrown the Poison Fang straight away, because I would think you would go for the double Poison Fang so that the defense would be debuffed and then wing attack the rest of the way down. He's going to go for the Poison Fang now. It's going to get the shield, and now he's actually going to go for the triple Poison Fang. Okay, this is going to work as well. I think it would have been cleaner to just go straight for the Poison Fang, although maybe it was a case of move timing, wanting to make sure that there wasn't an extra bullet seed snuck through. But going into game 3 now, 1-1, we have the B-Drill going into Beware. Again, not an awesome spot for B-Drill, but if it can land the drill run, that's going to be pretty decent here. So we see a Stomp come through, bring it down into the yellow, farming up tons of energy before it gets the chance to get to another Stomp, and now throwing the drill run. We'll see if this one does go through. We do see it land, and here comes Credilli. Credilli also not loving the matchup up against B-Drill. These X's actually do quite a fair chunk of damage to Credilli. You can see it bring down over half health, so it cannot tank 2 of these X's. This second one coming through to really put that pressure onto Dub. Burning that first shield. Looks like we're going to try and go for a Bullet Seed down, but not able to get there. B-Drill getting a third X-Scissor off, going to force this Credilli down or get that shield, and it does get the shield. And at this point, and Credilli gets, that's really unfortunate. Credilli, so yeah, they just stopped left it at that point. They put all of their eggs into the one basket. Credilli is going to Bullet Seed down, we're going to have a ton of energy, and we're going to just unload it onto the next Pokemon, but went down with both shields, without getting any shields, and with all of the energy just wasted. So really unfortunate for Dub, but GG's with Boem are playing really nicely there and able to take out round 1 with a 2-1. So going through round 2 up against SergentRaclette, who's running a team of Pelipper, Credilli, Shadow Beedrill, Shadow Drapion, Lapras, and Muk. And this is the exact duo that I'm most fearful of in this cup. It is the Drapion Muk core. Those 2 poison types, because ground damage is so hard to get, it is really difficult to sort of get through both a Drapion and a Muk, and they so often get run on the same line of 3 in some sort of ABB format, so something like a Pelipper to defend against a Beedrill, and then the Drapion Muk in the back. So I'm expecting that Boem is going to bring that Beedrill in as that Pokemon that is bringing that drill run, like that's sort of its big reason to be on the team. Which also might mean, there is a Shadow Beedrill on Sergeant's side as well, which maybe is a little bit threatening, but regardless, if we bring in Beedrill, we have to protect ourselves from that Pelipper. So with a Flyer, there's a few different options here. You could bring in the normal Cast form, would do okay. Golbat actually does okay. Malamar does okay. So actually, Boem's team is pretty well stacked to defend this Beedrill. And Melodic as well, able to tank all of those moves from the Pelipper, even able to tank a Hurricane while still putting on the big Dragon Tail damage back. So I think that Boem is has a pretty solid team to go into this battle, and we'll see how it does go, because that Drapion Muk, you're going to see that a lot in this meta, especially as time goes on. But we've got the Melodic into the Shadow Beedrill in the lead, so this is not a bad lead for Melodic at all. The Poison Jabs definitely do hurt because of the Shadow bonus, but look how much the Dragon Tails are doing as well. Really spammy though, so this X-Scissor is going to hurt. Oh, it was a drill run. Oh my god, that really hurts even more. And catching the Surf onto the Muk, not going to do as much damage proportionally as it would have onto the Beedrill. But we're now swapping out into the Skuntank. You can see we actually had double Dark in the back, not bringing in the Beedrill. I guess maybe interesting. Skuntank Malamar. I'm not sure what they're targeting with that. I guess just Skuntank to sort of soak up this energy from the Muk and Drapion, able to get this crunch off that is neutral. Gets the shield out of the Muk, no defense debuff. Doesn't shield up here. I don't think a Thunder Punch quite takes it out. But we are gonna get to another crunch. Farms up to the Flamethrower and then throws the crunch, which is interesting. I'm not sure what. I guess actually it's the same strategy of making sure that whatever comes in, the Drapion in this instance does not get the chance to farm very much. Only gets that 1 Poison Sting and Skuntank is down. So really, again, good plays from Boem here. Bringing in the Malamar, able to take shield up the crunch. No defense debuff. Gonna charge up. No charge move from Drapion is going to take out the Malamar in one go, so is going to be able to tank 1, but now that the superpowers are starting to go on, the defense is falling, so she decides to shield up this time, just to keep it a little bit more healthy from that crunch. Here comes the Beedrill. There's still 1 shield, and really brilliant catch from Boem, wasting this energy from the Beedrill. It is just an X-Scissor, but really, really handy to get there, because now going to be able to farm from 2 foul plays. Goes to the first one here. There is still 1 shield up on Sergeant's side, so we'll see if they want to use it on the Beedrill. They do. There's the first one, farms up 1 extra Psycho Cut. Here's the foul play that is going to take the Beedrill out. We're now going to see them come back in with the Drapion, and is gonna, with that 1 superpower, that 1 Psycho Cut that they got extra, able to get to the superpower, and it's going to close out this battle. Really nice plays there. Melodic coming in there against the Pelipper. Again, this is okay. We can tank the Hurricane if it comes through. But this time, bringing in the Beedrill as well. Beedrill for that coverage of the poison types that we are likely to see in the back. Especially as I was sort of thinking, the Pelipper bodyguard for the 2 poisons in the back, but we'll see if that's right or not. It does shield up the Hurricane though, which is a really nice shield. It's a little too risky to go for a Weather Ball, I feel, when you're up against Melodic, just because it does like nothing. And you're wasting all of that momentum, but we see the Drapion swap in here, that Surf doing a lot of damage and now swapping into the Skuntank just to again soak up this energy from the Drapion and then do a bit of damage back. There's one Aqua Tail, get him able to tank another one of those easily, or a Crunch, can tank either move here. Skuntank is going to be just fine and just keep on farming up energy, farm, and now while almost having 2 crunches the back-to-back, throws this first crunch here. That would take the Drapion out without a shield, but yeah, no shield there. And here comes Beedrill as well. Has the Flamethrower, but opting not to use it this time. Going to go straight for the crunch. Potentially, I don't think it's quite going to get to a second one. Yeah, not going to be able to get to another crunch. But brings in the Beedrill for the mirror now. It's in a spot where burning the shield does mean that Boem is a little bit behind on the energy. But actually, a swap into Pelipper was maybe trying to catch a move there, but that sort of gave Boem the opportunity to actually get quite a solid advantage here. Get a little bit more extra energy. Able to throw this X's out, get that last shield, and then we see an attempted catch into the Milotic, and not successful though, but even without it being successful, Boem is in quite a strong position still. This X's out, oh actually that is enough to take it out, and okay, Boem gets to this X's out. This is going to take out that Shadow Beedrill, and that's going to be GG's with a 2-0. In round 2, but we've still got 1 game to go with the Beedrill in the mirror match this time. We'll see how this does end up going. Instant swap into the Lapras. Boem doesn't really have a great answer for Lapras here. I guess like Melodic is the best way to go. We'll see if this is Ice Beam or if it's Skull Bash, because Skull Bash could be really hurtful, and it actually is the Skull Bash, so really nice identification from Boem to burn the shield there. Personally, I'm more of a Surf Ice Beam guy in this meta, but Skull Bash definitely has its merits. And we're going for the Hyper Beam, hoping to get this through. Oh, really unfortunate. We don't get to see a beam of success here today yet, maybe. But it gets the Skull Bash through, and that defense is super duper high on that Lapras now. Melodic just still farming away. This is, I don't think that can be another Skull Bash, so it's just going to be another Surf. Melodic is going to be able to tank that, and then one more Dragon Tail, and down it goes the super bulky Lapras, like it needed any help being any more bulky. But the Beedrill comes in, Surf does a lot of damage, as we saw a little bit earlier, does about half. And Melodic is sitting on a lot of energy here, almost at a 3rd Surf even. So this 2nd Surf is going to put that pressure on, gets the shield. We actually see a swap out into Beedrill to keep that little bit of energy on the Melodic for later on. And with no shields left on SergentRaclette's side, this Beedrill is just going to be able to run away with it. That X is going through to take that out. We do see the Pelipper coming in here, and Beedrill was like a little bit up a creek here, but we have a full health Skuntank still sitting in the back. So that, plus the Melodic, plus the Beedrill, we're in a pretty good spot here to take this Pelipper out. And the X-Scissors plus Poison Jabs are doing a solid chunk as well. At this point, I think you would, like, I was sort of thinking you bring in the, oh, actually this probably is the right play, just because they are going to be able to get to 1 Hurricane, and you want to be able to Poison Jab down before they have the chance to get Hurricane plus Weather Ball. But with that said, Boem able to take out round 2 as well. Does mean we're going to be going on to round 3 now with a 2-0 up against MBait38, who's running a pretty similar team of Malamar, Pelipper, Melodic, Credilli, Drapion, and Frostlass. So no double poison this time, no Drapion Muck, just going with the Drapion this time, but we do see that Frostlass. So we'll see if Boem decides to bring that Cast Form back in this time. It's a little bit rough. I guess you actually do have access to Energy Ball, so things like Melodic, you've got that for that as well. Even against like Pelipper, you're in a pretty decent spot. Credilli, you're okay, but not great, as we saw before. Frost, I see pretty good. Drapion, not an awesome spot, and Malamar, a pretty bad spot for Castform to be in, but maybe Castform might have some pretty solid play here. I wouldn't be too surprised either if we see Beedrill come out again, even though it's a little bit riskier with the Frostlass running around. I think the Beedrill is still a really nice pick, and I think that Malamar still works quite well as well, especially when that Frostlass is coming in, just because obviously you have access to those foul plays that are going to do a fair chunk of damage there. So we'll jump into round 3. We'll see how we go here. And we have the Melodic in the lead up against the Melodic in the lead. Okay, so this is going to, we'll see if either of these players do swap out. You can actually see we've got this Skuntank and the Beedrill in the back. So I guess solid countering is sort of maybe expecting a Drapion to appear in this line of 3. But going to go for the Surf here. No big moves, does get the shield there. The opponent, Boem makes the call that is just a Surf. And it is just the Surf, so really nice call there. Not going to be able to get to another Hyper Beam. Actually just going to let this go. Interesting not going for the Surf. I guess wanting to use this Melodic is something to get some energy from. Beedrill going to come in. Going to have to burn a shield on a Surf, I believe. Oh no, okay. Going for the X-Scissor instead of the full farm down, which will be enough to take the Melodic out. And then we see the... Oh, that is an interesting swap in. Bringing in the Drapion to something that is running Drill Run with an energy advantage. That is a big cojones move. Okay, so Crunch, no defense debuff this time. So they've even gone for the high energy move from the Drapion. Really just trying to do anything they can to try and get this advantage back from Boem. Goes to that first Drill Run, but gets shielded up. Beedrill going to burn another shield because Boem is happy that this Beedrill is looking really strong. And if they've brought Drapion out here, you can sort of take a guess that they might have something else that is weak to it in the back as well. Maybe Malamar or Credilli even. Drill Run, down goes the Drapion. It actually is the Credilli. So I always feel like Credilli might have been a better Pokemon to bring out into the Beedrill. But either way, this X-Scissor is going to hurt again. Only need to get to one more X-Scissor, and this Credilli is not going to survive the battle. But I'm going to be taking out this first game in a pretty substantial manner. And again, that Skuntank hanging out in the back as well. But Beedrill into Frostlass in this next game. Not an awesome spot to be in, so we're going to swap into Skuntank straight away. Looks like we might be going for the strategy of going for this one Avalanche and then dipping, which is definitely a common strategy for Frostlass. So there's the Avalanche. Down to the red. Actually, looks like he's staying in. So again, Boem going for this strategy of letting the Skuntank's health go right down and then just throwing the charge move. So there's nothing to farm, but Frostlass going to shield anyway. So down it goes to the Skuntank, and here comes Melodic. Melodic takes the Avalanche is fine, but this is going to be a Shadow Ball, so Shadow Ball hurts a fair chunk to Melodic. You see the mirror match starting up here. I'm not sure if Boem was able to get a Dragon Tail or not. After the Hyper Beam, and the opponent does burn the shield for... Is this a Surf, or did they not get it? Okay, it is just a Surf. Okay, charging up to the Hyper Beam, keeping that energy for later on, and then swapping into the Beedrill. Gonna shield up the Surf here, but those Surfs are gonna come pretty fast. Ooh, really going aggressive on the farm here. Really nice counting from Boem. This X-Scissor is going to be enough if they don't shield, which they don't. And we still got two Pokemon to deal with though, which we're gonna see. Okay, here's the Frostlass back. Gonna be able to get to... Oh, tried to catch a Drill Run onto Pelipper. Not working out there, though. Although Ember is still in a pretty decent position here. The X's are not doing much. Drill Run wouldn't do much either. Not going to get to 3 X's. And you can see Boem was actually tapping on the Melodic there, hoping to keep Beedrill alive to throw that last X's at the back, but yeah, wasn't going to happen, and unfortunately not able to get that Hyper Beam off, which puts us in another 1-1 scenario going into game 3 of round 3. Got the Skuntank into the lead up against Pelipper this time. I've got the Melodic and actually bringing in that normal Castform this time. This is not I guess none of these three hate being up against Pelipper, but Skuntank probably likes it the least. Getting the Crunch defense debuff and then swapping into Melodic, which would really put that big pressure on. We have the Credilli coming out against this Melodic, which is a little bit scary, but Surf, because of the rock typing on Credilli, does actually do a fair amount of damage. Brings it down to the yellow, and then is one Dragon, just got that last Dragon Tail that would get it to another Surf. So Boem deciding to shield up the Grass Knot, wanting to get this extra bit of damage onto Credilli, because if this goes through, I think Credilli is going to get KO'd. So we do see it shield up though, wants to get this Grass Knot off that would, I think it's just enough to take out Melodic, even though it's a pretty bulky Pokemon. Yeah, Credilli seriously can do so much work in this meta, like seriously. But Skuntank gonna come in, gonna go try and farm all the way down by the looks of it. Okay, gonna let this go. I think it can tank it either way, barely. Yeah, does hang on, Poison Jab down, has either charge move can go for. Probably just gonna go straight for the Crunch. Yeah, go straight for the Crunch. I didn't actually see what that swap in was, but it's getting Crunch, whatever it is. Okay, so the Pelipper, and we see a swap, so we don't know how much health it's actually on now, but Castform coming in a spot where it's definitely pretty welcome against a Frostlass. Hex doing a lot, Rock Weatherball doing a lot as well, and with a shield in tow still as well. Castform can afford to burn the shield here, farm up a little bit of extra energy, throw the Rock Weatherball to take the Frostlass out, and then throw another Rock Weatherball to presumably take out the Pelipper, depending on how much health it has. We will see. Oh, okay, there's like no health at all. I don't think it has a Hurricane, so this is just going to be a Surf. Yeah, a Weather Ball, sorry. And yeah, one more. Oh, we actually get the double Weather Ball. Castform is going to go down, but we still have a Skuntank. So Skuntank, one Poison Jab is all it's going to need. And down goes that Pelipper and takes out Embe with a 2-1 in round 3. But this is going to be a very stacked battle in round 4 because 13 Joppy 37 is one of the other best in the world. They are legend ranked on the Silph Arena leaderboards. They are number 2 on the Italy leaderboards, and I believe they are 22nd on the global leaderboard, just a few places behind Boem. So this is essentially 2 of the top 25 in the world facing off in this regionals meta for our entertainment and learning. So I really do appreciate again Boem for sending all this through, but this is going to be an interesting matchup. So 13 Joppy is running that. We can see the Muk Drapion core again in the Melodic, Muk, Poliwrath, Pelipper, Shadow Drapion, and Pseudo Wudo. It's sort of brought 2 fighters in as well. I say fighters with the quotation marks because, you know, Pseudo Wudo has counter but doesn't have the fighting typing. Poliwrath is relying on Dynamic Punch a little bit more to actually get its fighting damage through. But again, this is a case where we have the double poisons, which is really popular. I'm expecting the Beedrill to come out, which means I expect some sort of Beedrill bodyguarding situation to go on, which Melodic, to be honest, is actually doing pretty decently as a Melodic bodyguard, Beedrill bodyguard, especially when Pelipper is that sort of main pick, like the main flyer that is the scary thing on the other team. But I wouldn't be too surprised, like really anything works pretty decently up against Pelipper. Like nothing's a terrible counter except for Beedrill. Like as long as Beedrill is not the thing that lands on the Pelipper, Boem is actually doing okay. So we'll see how it ends up going. We'll see if we do see that same ABB of like Pelipper, Drapion, Muk. Actually, we see Muk come out in the lead, which is interesting. So maybe we only have the 1 poison here, or Drapion's just hanging out in the back anyway. This is a spot where Malamar is doing like technically super effective damage with the Psycho Cut fast moves, but it isn't the real mashed potatoes to say the least. So we've got the foul play going on. We'll be able to tank a Thunder Punch. Oh, we actually catch a foul play into the Drapion. This is not going to do much damage at all. Really just going to waste that energy. And actually, it is double poison. We've got BAB going on by the seams of it. But that Muk now has energy, and Boem has to be careful. Bringing in the Golbat now is sort of using it up in a sense where we know that the Muk has Thunder Punches ready to go in the back. So even if Golbat sort of wins this matchup, Boem is not expecting it to last very long, so lets this crunch come through to bring its health right down, gets the defense debuff, and I don't think that Boem probably minds very much about that. Here comes the Muk going straight for the Thunder Punch and probably just going to let it come through. Yeah, lets it go. Thunder Punch definitely going to seal the deal there with that defensive debuff. Beedrill going to come in now, going to burn the shield on Beedrill. Farming down all the way is probably a little bit ambitious. Okay, we actually see swap it into Pseudo Wudo. That is interesting. That means that 13 Joppy was running double Muk, Drapion, Sudowoodo, all 3 of which are actually weak to the Beedrill. So Boem is in a really strong position there. Gets that first shield from the first attack from the Beedrill, swaps into the Malamar just to soak up this energy from the Sudowoodo. Rock Slide is enough to take it out, and now Beedrill just has to sort of land a drill run onto Sudowoodo and then also take out a little bit of health in the back as well, which you can probably just do with an X-Scissor. So shields up the Rock Slide, we're going to farm up a ton of energy and go for the X-Scissor bait. Really wants the shield to come up on Sudowoodo here so they can get this. It does get the shield. We're going to be able to get this drill run off to take Sudowoodo out, and then only, I think, needs to get to an X-Scissor to take out this full game in the back here. Here comes Muk. It might have a Thunder Punch. Maybe. No, it does not. We get the X-Scissor off, and this is going to take out the Muk, which is going to take out the game up against 13 Joppy. Really well played, though. Really interesting line of 3 from Joppy, though, with the being triple weak to Beedrill. Don't expect this time, though. And we've got the Malamar into the Drapion lead, which is pretty decent for Malamar. Again, you're in a spot where you can go for these superpowers. You can take a Crunch or an Aqua Tail even after the first superpower debuff, I'm pretty sure. We're going to swap into Melodic, trying to catch an Aqua Tail, I suppose, but probably not had enough time to react and throw a Crunch. And just going to keep going on away. Drapion is actually going to be able to get to a Crunch pretty quickly. Oh, we catch the Surf into the Mirror Melodic. Again, these 2 battlers really both know what they're doing, so the catches are not to be unexpected here. Just going to keep firing away. Dragon Tail, Dragon Tail, Dragon Tail. Gets one last surf off before going down. It's not going to take Melodic out, but any damage is good damage. So down into the yellow it goes. Down goes Melodic from Boem's end. And I guess at this point, yeah, brings in the Beedrill, which is an interesting call. I guess I'm not shielding. I mean, he's going to be able to tank one surf, but Beedrill isn't going to love to take too much from it. And you're going to have to shield this next one if they want to keep Beedrill alive, which they do. Again, with Poison being such a prominent typing on Gioppi's team, would be pretty shocked if they just let Beedrill sort of go to the wayside completely. Pelipper actually coming in, which is, again, not great for Beedrill. Brings in the Malamar. Here comes the Drapion. I guess you wish you had the Beedrill and the Drapion, the Malamar, and the Pelipper a little bit more, because now going to eat the crunch, and another charge move already coming through, which is so rough. Shielding up the Aqua Tail. This is not looking good for Boem at all. Charges up as much energy as possible, throws the superpower now, but lets the Drapion go, because now Pelipper is going to be able to come in. Still has a shield. This foul play wouldn't actually KO the Pelipper, and with Psycho Cut not doing much damage, and Beedrill not doing too much damage in the back either. Down it goes. There's no more shields on Pelipper's side, but this Weather Ball is all that Gioppi is going to need. This is going to take out the Beedrill, and that puts us at 1-1 again with these two juggernauts fighting it out in the Architect Cup meta. So here we go with the Malamar into the Drapion. Again, which we did see Gioppi take this one out in that last game, so we'll see if Boem sort of plays out some different strategy this time to try and play it a little bit differently. Goes straight for the superpower this time before swapping into Skuntank, and we can actually see that Boem has decided to drop the Beedrill for this third game, thinking that it's too obvious. Gioppi's probably still brought in maybe double poison and Melodic here, but we'll see how it goes. Going for the crunch on the Melodic to try and get that defense debuff, which we do get that 30% chance coming through. You get another crunch off, which is really just putting a lot of hurt onto this Melodic, unfortunately. So do see, oh, actually let the Melodic go, bring in the Pelipper. Okay, so they've even ditched the double poison at the same time that Boem has ditched the Beedrill. So really nice call from Boem's end on the reading of the teams. Gonna get this crunch off before going down, gets another defense drop on this Pelipper, and here comes Melodic, or again, Melodic is able to tank Hurricane, but gonna shield up in case. Just the Weather Ball though, which is a little bit unfortunate. Probably gonna go for the Hurricane now. And does want to burn its shield again. Protecting the Malamar from Drapion, I guess, because yeah, this crunch is going to come through. Gets the defense drop this time, swap into Malamar after getting a nice little bit of energy on the Melodic. Going to be able to tank this move. It is the crunch, but going to be able to tank it. Psycho Cut down. Oh my gosh, letting Drapion do extra damage with Poison Sting, trying to do a Boem, as I'm going to call it. But yeah, wasn't going to quite get that low, and still able to bring in, well, gets the last shield with the Malamar, brings in the Melodic, gets the Surf. This Surf is going to take out the Pelipper, and this is going to mean Boem is going to be able to take out this game and take out the round 4 with a 2-1 against 13 and Gioppi 37. So really well played from both battles there for sure. And good to keep it tight, but we're now going into the finals, where there are only 2 battlers left who are both on the 4-0 record. We've got Boem20 taking on Ethanrguez, who's running the straight away with the Shadow Mark, Shadow Drapion, straight in the front with the Malamar, the Pelipper, the Polarath, and the Credilli. So, do I need to say it? I'm expecting Beedrill. And then I'm expecting some sort of bodyguarding of Beedrill somehow. Beedrill is going to be really good. I mean, it's good against Credilli. It's good against Malamar. It's not bad against Polarath. Pelipper is the only real threat. So you just need to protect it from the Pelipper, and you're in a really nice spot for Boem. So let's jump into the battle and see how we go in these finals. Leave your thanks, Boem, in the comments down below for sharing these awesome games with us. And we've got the Malamar into Pelipper in the lead. So we've got the Golbat Skuntank in the back, which is interesting. Neither of them are like hard counters to Muck or Drapion, so we've gone for a little bit of a softer game here, so we'll see how it ends up playing out. Gets the first foul play to land on the Pelipper before letting this one come through. It's just the Weather Ball, and now going to get this foul play off that would be enough to take it out, but I'm sort of half expecting a shield to come up here. There's the shield, and then swapping out into Skuntank. Skuntank would be able to tank a Weather Ball or a Hurricane from this Pelipper, as we sort of saw a little bit earlier. Is the Hurricane, it actually does shield up, but here comes the Polarath, and this is where Skuntank's moveset sort of got a little bit stuck. Crunch Flamethrower doesn't have anything to throw that isn't resisted. I sort of prefer Sludge Bomb on Skuntank in this meta. I feel like it just gives you a little bit more. I guess Flamethrower gives you a bit of a better matchup up against Drapion, which is probably more important because there's more Drapions than Poliwraths, but I guess you can go either way. Go however you feel. Or if you're really spicy and a little bit daft, you could go for Flamethrower, Sludge Bomb, but I don't recommend it. Crunch is probably too important here. But regardless, Dynamic Punch going to come through there, leave Skuntank on a sliver of HP before swapping into Golbat to finish this thing off. There are no more shields, which means this Golbat with energy is going to be a little bit scary for whatever comes in with the threat of the Shadow Ball. We've got the Mutt coming in. We're going to farm up extra and catching the Shadow Ball into Pelipper. That wasn't even like the right timing. Like Boem overcharged, threw the Shadow Ball, and Ethan still got the exact right, perfect timing to catch all of that energy, waste it all, throw it all out onto that tiny little sliver of the Pelipper. But here comes the Golbat landing that big old Thunder Punch. We are going to get this Shadow Ball off anyway though, and this probably still is going to be enough to take this game out for Boem. But Ethan did definitely bring it nice and close with that last minute catch. But game 2, we've got Melodic into Credilli here. Not a good spot for Melodic, as we saw a little bit earlier, so we swap into Malamar. I was going to call it Magmar. Malamar, who's definitely in a pretty decent spot here. Isn't going to love either of these charge moves. Is the Stone Edge down to about a quarter of its health, so now going to go for the Foul Play, just so I guess it's not debuffed. And then going to try and go for an... Ooh, okay, we see a swap into Pelipper. But the switch time is not up, so he's going to try and farm up a ton of energy, go for this Foul Play, and now is one Psycho Cut away from the next move as well. Yeah, wasn't going to get there though, unfortunately, with the game working properly with sneaks and all. But Melodic coming in, probably going to get hit by a Hurricane here, so we'll see if Boem decides to shield. No shield, going to be able to tank it. And then Dragon Tail the Pelipper down. Hard swap into Beedrill here. Tap, 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 tap. And in comes the Poliwrath. This is actually not awesome for Boem. It is 2 shields to 2 shields, and we do get some pretty spammy X's off here, but not really doing big damage to this Poliwrath. I guess Poliwrath isn't doing huge damage back. We're expecting sort of Ice Punches, straight Ice Punches to come through here. Down to half health, no shields burned on Boem's end, another Ice Punch coming through, getting the first shield. This is just going to be a war of attrition a little bit. X is an Ice Punch, X is an Ice Punch, X is an Ice Punch, but look how much damage the Poison Jabs are doing from Beedrill. It is really making it its game here, going for the Druro now to try and take it out swiftly, but not able to get that through, unfortunately, so going to burn this shield so that he can get to another Xer. Maybe we see a swap into Melodic. Oh, we actually see a swap into Credilli, which is an interesting swap because now X is going to bring Credilli down to death's door. Down goes Credilli and now has some extra energy as well. Able to get this Xer off onto the Poliwrath, and even if this doesn't quite KO, still got a Melodic to do the job. Yeah, is able to... Oh no, one more Poison Jab required. But that does mean that Boem has taken out the round 2-0, but we've got one game to go still. So Melodic into Credilli again. Not where Credilli wants to be. Not where Melodic wants to be. Exactly where Credilli wants to be. So we see the swap into Malamar again, playing out the exact same way as that last game. Charge move coming through. Grass Knot. That's alright. We can tank that. I actually feel like Grass Knot must be a more efficient move against Malamar than Stone Edge is, just based on that. Let me know in the comments. Drapion coming in now, and Malamar has farmed up so much energy that it's able to throw this superpower. Boom, ding it down to below half health and able to get one more Psycho Cut and then throw the next superpower just to really put that hurt onto the Drapion. This is just going to let Malamar go because Malamar wasn't going to be able to get to another move if they did decide to shield. So going to bring Melodic in now. Going to be able to really force Ethan to go for the crunches instead of bothering to go for the Aqua Tails, just because they're really not going to do anything at all. So expecting this to be a crunch. Does shield up the crunch to keep Melodic nice and healthy. Maybe thinking there's going to be a Pelipper in the back so that you want to keep Melodic for instead of leaving it to take on the Beedrill, maybe? But in comes the Beedrill to just try and finish off the Credilli. Gets a little bit of energy. I'm not sure if that was lag or what happened just there. But it actually is the Pelipper in the back. So that is exactly why they wanted to shield and protect their Melodic, because it is going to be important to finish off this Pelipper. Goes for the Xer now. just gonna go for bulk X's to bring this thing down. It's the poison jabs that are really helping Beedrill to actually do quite a decent job up against this Pelipper. Weather Ball coming through though, farms up again, one extra poison jab, and then throwing the X's now. Not gonna quite take out the Pelipper. Actually get a shield. Here comes Melodic though, and Melodic with this Surf is pretty much going to seal the deal here, and Boem is going to close out the game, close out the tournament with a 3-0, and with that done, Boem taking it all out, and some really impressive plays from all of the players. Like, they were really enjoyable to watch, and really good to see Boem, how sort of Boem navigates around those sort of double poison teams with the Muck and the Drapion. You can really sort of see the value in the Beedrill. And also the reason why you might need to protect it. And I think Melodic actually works really well as a bulky Pokemon that sort of grounded all a little bit. Able to sort of just absorb the moves from Drapion, absorb the moves from Pelipper, absorb the moves from Poliwrath even. Muck would be... I don't think we actually saw any Muck on Melodic Violence in this video, but I guess Thunder Punch would definitely be a little bit hurtful there. But just something to play test a little bit more, but I think Boem did a really amazing job, and I do again want to give a massive thank you to Boem for sharing this footage. When he reached out to me about sort of sharing this footage through, he sort of mentioned, like, you know, he always loves getting that sort of early scoop on, like, seeing what other people's teams are working in practice tournaments, and sort of wanted to pay it back a little bit by giving us the footage from this 5-0 that he was able to manage in a practice tournament. And I really like, just such a perfect human. Like, seriously, so kind, so nice, and I just want to give him a big old hug. But seriously, thank you to Boem, and again, that link to the Telegram group is going to be down in the description down below if you do want to get in for some practice. Again, they've got a 24-hour rounds, they've got a one-night cup, they've got practice tournaments like this one if you do want to get as much practice in as possible for your regionals. With that said, thank you for watching, and thanks again to Boem. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, especially that subscribe one. Thank you to my patrons and supporters over on Twitch as well. I don't know if I mentioned it at the start of this video, but I did just do my regionals, like, it finished up like a couple of hours ago. I ended up going 3-2, so no big successes, but I did okay. I'm pretty happy with how I went. There were some good games in there, and I do intend to make a video, maybe next weekend. So do subscribe for that. Yeah. But if you want to check out some other stuff, it's over there. Subscribe button's over there. You know what the buttons are. You know what a subscribe button does at this point. I don't know. I'm not going to force your hand. I'm not your mum. Like, I could try to be, but that's up to you. But that's just a theory, a film theory. Thanks for watching. Bye.